What are we doing here? Who are you?
I'm Oliver Valente, the cinematographer of this film.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a coincidence. I'm John Carlos Evans, who happens to be the director of this
Really?
film.
Gosh, fancy meeting you here, dude.
What's up? This is Nico.
This is Alias, and we worked on the sound for Ashé.
And so what we're doing here is making a kind of a commentary track where I'm going to talk about the production of the film and the influences of the film, the look, the feel,
the look, the
cinematography.
feel. I'll talk about some of the equipment we implemented, some of the thinking behind it.
Overall aesthetics, and then maybe even pull up a few random access memories. Yeah, just like more subtle makeup, like latex. Like, see this. Huh. I originally, even while writing the film, I saw Ardian already kind of in this part. I met Ardian, I think at the Berlin Music Video Awards 5 or 6 years ago, and I always kept him in mind for a project. I knew we'd work together on something, but it was just a matter of what and when. A few years after meeting, I was able to help cast him into a photo shoot done by my friend Adam Katarchanu. And then even based on those photos, I knew that I wanted to do something that was based in genre, something that was either sci-fi or fantasy with Ardian. And the same, randomly as well, happened with Salber, where Salber we met not on a film shoot or on a production. We met because she had a job maybe in 2015, 2016, I think working as a babysitter for a news camera operator. And at the time, I was being interviewed by TRT to speak about Comic-Con and the Luke Cage season 2. And so we were just able to connect. And once I found out she was an actress and a performer as well, and a musician in her own right, she was someone I kept in mind. Often when I meet people, I always kind of keep them in the catalog of my mind, thinking of we're going to work together at some point, but I don't know when, I don't know where, but it's going to happen. So it was great to actually kind of bring all these threads together as we were creating this film. Anyone who's familiar with Yoruba mythology, or perhaps if you're Brazilian, where that's kind of more ingrained in the culture just because of the Afro-Caribbean influences. Ashé means literally let it be, so it shall be. It's a phrase of manifestation. To this, we're on location in Rudersdorf. It's actually it's a museums park that was used in the early 20th century, late 19th century. Was used to process calcium. So most of the film is set there.
So this was actually the first shot of the film, literally the first shot that we did, the first take of the production.
Yeah, literally. It's a good confidence builder shot. It's start with something very simple. There's no lighting really.
We had a few reflectors there behind the doorway.
I actually really loved the location for this. For the bits and pieces that I did for the sound design and composition, I kind of wanted to have it where there's a lot of extra movement. I mean, because even when we did the sort of field recording there, it just felt like there was a lot of different sound bouncing off of different areas and different parts. And yeah, I feel the location was perfect for it.
Yeah, it was where the hell are we going? Where's Carlos taking us? But then when we got there, I was very impressed with the location for sure. Felt really inspiring.
He's taking us to another world. And to create another world, you have to go to another world.
True.
And here we are.
Really the perfect location because it has this, this dystopian, really secluded vibe, and it's kind of outside of time. So it was a perfect place just to create our world without, Berlin or modernity really creeping in on us. It was a very much controlled space. And since we shot this in the middle of a pandemic, we literally had the entire park to ourselves. It was completely closed. So while we were shooting these exteriors, even the interiors and some of the warehouses, we were the owners of the land.
Actually, I love this area over here too. When we were filming here,
Yeah.
I feel this part actually came out even more perfect than what I first thought, to be honest.
Action.
And trying to squeeze in between like the trees and get like the perfect like location for like filming as well as like sound,
Mm-hmm.
and for you to work out your muscles. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It was a thing, but it was a beautiful thing.
Okay, so this in the woods. This is all natural light with just reflectors. We were using the Sunseeker butterfly reflector here, just to give them a little ping. But here was the lenses were doing all the work.
Yeah, it's the great focus. So this is one of my favorite shots in the film. Just creeping through the woods very, very slowly in the shallow depth of field. It gives us really a lot of like tension and anxiety. And I don't know, what I love is just simple things in cinematography as well. Like this shot says a lot and just like emotes a lot just because of the different textures.
Yeah, the foreground and background
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah, the long lens with the
Just following him. Now we meet the vampires. We got Bishop Black, Alexia Hahn, and Christina Noguchio as our hound, who was really in character the whole time. Really doing amazing things like to physicalize and like recreate this kind of hound vampire creature. One of the intentions of this moment to have them like just kind of laugh and break up kind of like the seriousness and mood of the whole film was to challenge him. Like for them, he's not a threat. It's just one man alone, and they are powerful vampires. As far as they know. Skepticism. Here comes the power of the sun. I'm glad of the reference for that scene, for that moment. I was thinking about kind of a mixture of like Goku and Dragon Ball, but then also the way that Havok in the X-Men lore, how his power signature looks when he's using his mutant power. Right?
yeah. So that drained all the battery power to get that fireball going. So here we had the Godox, without anything on it, just with the reflective dish that comes with it. And it just gave him a nice backlight. It just enabled us to separate him a bit from the background. Just because at this point in the day it was getting late and we were losing a lot of sunlight, and we just wanted to sort of make him stand out a bit. Okay, so this was the roofless building that we had to block out the sunlight and then fake sunlight in through the window.
Like this actually took some time, right? Because you guys had to climb on top
Yeah.
to actually cover it.
And it was finding, I think we ended up using a mixture of like flags, polyboards, just whatever we had to block it out. And then that tiny little window. So when we'd scouted, I'd kind of, had this idea of throwing a shaft of light through that window. But it was such a narrow opening. I remember it was hard for us to get the angle just right for it to come in. Your brief initially was that it's so like electricity was no longer an option. So
Exactly.
it was everything had to feel like it was more or less natural.
Yeah.
So it was either candlelight or
Or
daylight.
But overall, it's like not complicated setups in terms of like the amount of gear we're using, but more of just precision, kind of like enhancing those spaces already and controlling them.
A lot of it was also necessity. Being the mother of invention, we were limited by electrical outputs and we were limited by time, and a lot of it was like we just got to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes that creates the best stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the last scene we shot on the second day of filming, and we were almost out of battery. We had no outlets in that building, and so we caught something I feel like that was really beautiful and actually very, very simple. And here we get our final reveal, where the person who you think is on your side is not on your side. You've been sent on a fool's errand.
This stuff looks great, and here's the candles doing all the work. We had the Godox again, the workhorse of this movie.
It's the MVP.
Yeah, it's the MVP of the film.
I think something that's kind of like accidentally become a motif of mine is that a lot of my films have like scenes of meditation, and I like focusing a lot on like building the internal world of a character through like these moments of just like silence and like their own reflection. This film really was kind of like me embracing the things I liked instead of making something that I feel like I had to make, making something that I wanted to make. And so it was a great experience, great crew, great location. It was a little cold. It was April, in the middle of the pandemic, but we survived, and I think we got something good out of it. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
All right, thanks.
All right.
What is your purpose?
To bring light to darkness.
From where does your light come?
From within.
Until the world is ours.
You're a fool to put trust in us. You're a fool giving love for lust. You're a fool to put trust in lust, my pretty fool. Giving love for lust. Baby blue, you ain't gotta hide that you wanna buy, but the time ain't right. Got you comfortable, now you're loving kills. You ain't got that good if we ain't got a deal. Love for you, baby. You got love for you, baby. You got love for you, baby. Love for you, baby. Too much love for you, baby. Pour some love on you, baby. You're a fool to put trust